Yes, no, maybe. I don't know. Can you repeat the question? You're not the boss of me now. You're not the boss of me now. You're not the boss of me now. And you're not Cosmere Chronicles, the podcast we follow two first-time readers, Justin and Sheta, and we chronicle their journey through Brandon Sanderson's Cosmere series. On today's episode, we'll be chronicling the Stormlight Archive, The Way of Kings, chapters 41 through 44. So now, let's throw it over to the host of Cosmere Chronicles. This is Joe! Thank you, Joe. Welcome back, everyone. Cosmere Chronicles is the name of this show, in case you missed our intro. And I am Joe. And I am joined by Sheta and Justin.
Hi, Justin. How are you today?
I'm doing great.
Why do I imagine you as like a puppet?
Yes, Justin couldn't make it. His role will be played by a very poorly done Muppet.
We could not afford Muppets, so you get a Nuppet.
Ugh.
That's why I sound like this.
Justin, you're going to hurt our listeners' ears if you keep doing that.
All right.
I'll be quiet.
Okay. That's a good Nuppet.
Yeah.
All right. So we'll start off with a random question this week. So my question is, name what movie do you think was one that was better than it really deserved to be? Like one where if you look on paper, like the description and stuff about the movie, it's like, this movie should just be shit. And then you watch it and it's like, oh my God, this movie was much better than it should have been.
That's kind of tough. Because there's a lot of movies that I'm watching now that at the time I think wasn't well received, but watching it now, I'm like, I don't know what everyone was complaining about. That was a great movie.
Yeah, but that wasn't well received. You got to think of one that the premise just sounds fucking stupid.
Yeah. Okay.
If you guys want to think, I can throw out, I have two, I'll throw out one, so you can kind of get an idea.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was thinking Studio 666, which you look on paper, it's a horror movie starring the Foo Fighters, playing the Foo Fighters. And just looking at it, it's like, that just sounds like a really dumb premise and dumb idea. Then you watch the movie, and it's actually a pretty decent, like, horror comedy movie.
Mm-hmm.
This is too hard of a question.
It is a hard one, but I'm stubborn. I'm gonna think of an answer.
Okay. Also, the definition of like a good movie is kind of like, or it's not good, but it might just be better than everyone expected it to be, I guess.
No, better than the premise makes it sound. Like Joe said, some stupid ass sounding thing about a band in a horror movie sounds like it would be god awful, you know? So just the premise sounds so stupid. If you were going to pitch it to somebody, they'd be like, I don't want to watch that. But you're like, no, bro, it's totally good. Everything I think of when I think of the premise through my head, I'm like, no, that sounds fucking awesome.
Yeah, that's kind of my problem too. Like, is that
you
a
gotta go
dumb
stupider.
premise? Yeah. Could it just be like Jason X or something? Or is that a...
I'm sorry, Sheta. Do you think Jason X is better than the premise? Because I certainly think the premise sounds like it should be great.
It's a joke premise, but I didn't think they would actually, do it. So.
They barely did.
Okay.
Wait, Sheta, do you think Jason X is a good movie?
That too is the next question.
No, I guess I wouldn't say that it's a good movie. Yeah. I guess I'm just gonna say the Spice Girls movie, Spice World. Because it's just like, we're just gonna have the Spice Girls run around and be cute. There's not really, a real plan, but I like the movie. I think it's really fun.
That's a good one too.
Oh, we have two musical groups starring in movies so far.
Well, that's a good one to do, because you'd assume those are going to be awful.
Well, Justin, I guess you have to go with the Moonwalker movie.
Oh God, no. It was a stupid movie. I barely call that thing a movie. This is one of the biggest questions I've ever been asked. I don't know where you dug up Spice Girl shit. I'm impressed.
I just looked at movies that I enjoyed and then go from there. But it was kind of a surprise when you liked it. Just say Rugrats in Paris.
Rugrats in Paris is a great premise for a movie. So no. Also, I don't think I ever saw that one.
I did. I even watched
Yeah,
the 3 episodes of the show that led up to the movie.
I thought that was really cool. Like that they did it like.
All right. I think I'm going to say taking a horror movie series protagonist about a guy who's fighting monsters in a cabin in the woods, and then suddenly having a movie where you transport him to medieval times, give it a bit more comedy, and then have him fight an army of skeletons. Really should have been like one of the worst movies ever made, and yet Army of Darkness is the best movie I've ever seen. So that premise is god awful, and it really shouldn't have worked.
Fair enough.
Yeah, and my second one that I had was not another teen movie. I just felt like another parody of teenage movies, like She's All That and stuff. It's like, all right, this just sounds like it's just going to be bad, just another bland satire thing. And it wound up being such a good movie. It's so much better than it had any right being.
Mm-hmm. I got a second one too now. You got a second one, Sheta?
Yeah, but go ahead. Then yours first.
My second one is a 2-hour Lego commercial. That's one of the most creative and fun movies I've ever watched. That is just a send up of all these different tropes and genres. The characters are strong. And that repeats an purposely annoying song over and over. That's actually really good. Lego Movie is better than that movie had any right to be. It's a fucking commercial.
Remember when that was first coming out, seeing like ads, it's like, this is just gonna be stupid. Just a Lego movie? That just sounds dumb. And one of my coworkers had seen it. It's like, no, Joe, you have to see this. It was fucking awesome.
Yes, it is. It is.
Well, I'm not gonna say mine anymore then, because that's not actually.
You have to. You have to. I want to hear it.
I was gonna say a Christmas movie where a dad tries to find a toy for his son last minute. Starring Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah.
It's just one of the best Christmas movies. Jingle All the Way, and I watch it.
Started to accept it as one.
It's much better than you would expect.
I like it.
Very entertaining.
Yeah, no, if you said you've got to watch this family comedy starring Arnold Schwarzenegger as he tries to get a toy on Christmas. Actually, I'd watch that movie in a second if you said that premise. But I'd watch it as a joke.
Plus, granted, when that came out, he had some pretty good comedy movies like Twins and Kindergarten Cop.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but this one's like a Looney Tunes movie.
Yeah. We have Arnold and Sinbad doing this. And at one point, Arnold will fight the Big Show.
Yeah. All right, I think those are all pretty good.
All right.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's fun.
All right. So we will go back to Cosmere and the Way of Kings. And, oh, shit. Whose turn is it to recap? I do not remember.
Not me.
It's Justin.
No, it's not. It actually is not me.
Yeah, no.
Joe, you got to decide who to shoot. Only one of us is the real recapper.
Justin is the one.
It's her. It actually is.
If I had to shoot one at that point, I'll just put a second bullet in, shoot both, just to be safe.
Just to be safe.
All right, Sheta, recap last week's chapters.
The lesson, right?
Yes. Right? Yep, we started with the lesson.
Okay. The lesson. Shallan and Yasna are taking a bath together. And it gets be steamy because
there were no sexual undertones. Say that part.
Okay. Shallan's still debating on whether or not to steal the Soulcaster, and then Yasna's like, you know what? Let's go out on the town and I'm going to teach you some stuff. So she brings her out to the worst part of town and kind of sets them out as bait and for some bad guys to come out, and Yasna murders them with her Soulcaster. Even if they had ill intent, this makes Shallan really uncomfortable and she does not like it at all. She does see it as murder. But Yasna goes, okay, well, let's see you reason that out, and that'll be your homework for the week or whatever. Like whether or not this was a good or bad thing that I did. Then we go to sides. Is that a Kaladin chapter?
Well, I think there was a very important thing that happened in that last chapter you're missing.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Yes, Shallan is so shaken by this that she's like, you know what? I'm just gonna steal the Soulcaster. And she steals and replaces it with her broken one. So at last, she has stolen it and accomplished her mission. All right. Then we go to the next chapter. Well, she tells her brothers that she's not coming home yet. She wants to wait and see if the coast is clear if he comes back. And I don't really remember. Oh, Kaladin wakes up, right? He wakes up and he wakes up and he's healing from his injuries. Yep. And Teft has been kind of like healing him with orbs and weirdly he's healing faster than usual and stuff because of that. And he comes back and all the men are very happy, but Kaladin has now fallen into not yet. Kaladin is just kind of like surprised too that he's healed so fast. I think we go to Kaladin's past, I believe, and like how his dad is still dealing with the Lord there. Lord Rashon, and we see that Lord Rashon's son and him have moved in, and now the son is kind of like with Laurel, and Laurel's changed. She's gonna end up being married to him. Yep, yeah, and then I think Kabsal and Shallan flirt a little more, and Shallan's trying to figure out how to use the Soulcaster, and Kaladin starts to kind of lose hope again.
Yeah, well, we'll give it to you. That's good enough. And the only other thing you missed was that, Kaladin learned that his father did steal the spheres from Laurel.
Yeah, that changes a lot.
Yep. So this week we've read, 4 chapters. We got a couple Kaladin flashbacks and then one Kaladin, one Shallan chapter. So, as usual, how are you guys feeling about these chapters?
I'm feeling positive.
I don't know why you would.
I enjoyed them.
Oh, okay. Okay. I guess I enjoyed them too, but I think our characters are going through a lot of, like, a hard time, I guess. I liked learning some of the pieces that we were missing all this time, like mysteries or answers have been given and stuff like that. So that was nice to learn. And now we are much farther in the book, much more than halfway.
We're almost 2/3 of the way through.
I was surprised it took this long. Now I see like what kind of speed we're going at here. And I don't know how many books there are to the Stormlight stuff, but I'm excited to get through them.
Yeah, a little fun thing, because this week, this is the 12th episode of Way of Kings for us reading chapters. So that equals the amount of weeks it took us to read every single Mistborn book and Warbreaker. Each of those were 12 weeks.
Oh, didn't realize this was
just
the
think about
longest
that. Yep, think about for those books, we'd be done now.
Yeah.
Well, let's go into the chapters this week then. We'll start off with chapter 41 of Ilds and Milp. And it does start off with some artwork where we get pretty much images of what an axehound looks like. Yep, so heard of axehounds a couple times. Shallan's brother had some, so yep, that's what an axehound is like.
Okay, I'm gonna look it up because I have the book, so let me look it. Oh, that's not what I thought. It looks like a grasshopper. It's kind of cute.
Did you say cute?
Yeah, he's got little like moth bunny ears.
Moth bunny ears.
Yeah.
My thought when I saw it was more terrifying.
I could see it being cute though. Did you see this little picture of it on the side where it's like a little bunny? That's cute. They keep them as pets though, right?
Yeah, they're pretty much like dogs.
Yeah. See, that means they're affectionate too, so that's cute.
All right. So into the chapter. 5.5 years ago. Chapter begins and Laurel is screaming as Kaladin and Liren are operating on Rashon and Relir. They have been messed up while they were out on a white spine hunt. Laurel's frantic and saying, no, he can't die, and for them to work harder until she's finally led out of the room. Yep, and there's blood everywhere. And they have like tusks from white spines like in their bodies and everything. And while he's working on them, Lyran's focusing on Relia first. And Kaladin's able to put some water in, clear out the wound, so that way Lyran can get a better look at it. And then he leaves and begins working on Rishon instead. Rishon tells Lyran, no, work on my son first. Lyran tells him, your son is dead. Rishon's like, no, he's not. He's still moving. I can see. Lyran tells him that he has 3 guidelines when it comes to surgery. First, if the wounds are equal, then you treat the youngest first. Second, if the wounds are not equal, then you treat the worst wounds first. And third, a surgeon must know when someone is beyond their ability to heal. He apologizes and said that he would save him if he could. And then Lyran has Kaladin administer daze water to Rishon, which pretty much knocks him out or just dazes him, so but it's an anesthesia. And then he has Kaladin go and administer it to Relia in order to ease his pain. And then while he's continuing to work, Lyran just complains about how Rishon had gone out hunting for a white spine and that he went out seeking death. Kaladin says Rishon's not going to be pleased when he awakens. And Lyran, he's cutting out like a piece of tusk from Rishon's leg, and he has his scalpel, and he's right by Rishon's femoral artery. Kaladin notices that his father's hand quivers for a moment, but then he looks over at Kaladin, and then he just continues to fix up Rishon.
No. I was telling him to do it the whole time. I was like, dude, you have to. This guy's going to get revenge like you can't even imagine.
Mm-hmm. I was like, now's not the time for... Yeah, I'll say more later. That pissed me off.
And then we cut a few hours later, and Kaladin's sitting outside the surgery room when his father comes out. And Kaladin tells him that he saw inside a man today. Not inside Rishon and Relia, but he saw inside his father. And he says that, that his father would have let Rishon die if Kaladin was not there today. But Lyran answers no. He would have saved him no matter what. Kaladin asks why. Because, Lyran, he could have just simply let Rishon die and say that he could not save him, and that would have solved so much. But Lyran says that would have been the same as murdering him, and that I'm not a killer. Somebody has to start and do what is right because it is right. And then Lyran says the others still haven't brought back Ald and Milp. And those are 2 townsmen who were also on the hunt with them and who had also gotten injured, but Rishon left them behind so that way he could travel back faster. Lyran says the Light Eyes don't care about life, so he must. And after he leaves, Kaladin wonders, would I have let Rishon die? And he realizes, yes, I would have. He realizes that he could kill, and that some people, similar to a festering finger, just need to be removed. That's the end of the chapter.
I'm not usually on the side of cold-blooded murder, but just pragmatically, this guy needed to die. And you are going to reap what you sow with your morals. That's where it leads. You standing by my cold-blooded murder, Sheta?
Yeah, 100%. I have lots of words about...
You know exactly how he's going to react,
Yeah.
Now, this is the right thing to do as a surgeon. I don't think a surgeon should be somebody who's willing to kill, because you need somebody you can trust, at the same time, out for your family the whole time. And he's a piece of garbage, Like some people, they have layers to him. A guy like this, not really, no. Especially when he's only injured by his own stupidity and recklessness.
I was going to say, why is it always so funny when a king or a lord gets killed in a wild boar hunt? Like, you're just like,
it's because
why
it
did you
wasn't
do
a
this?
war. Yeah.
You didn't need to do this. Like, it's just so, it happens so often in things. And I just think it's so funny. And it's also, a pig killed you, all your warrior, days or you're wanting glory and stuff, and you're just killed by an animal that you decided to go out and provoke and stuff. It's funny to me.
I'm going to say...
a man just died.
This was not quite a pig.
It was basically like a wild boar hunt. An equivalent.
This is a white spine.
Yeah, an equivalent, just like how the hound there is
whoa,
not a
equivalent? That's not an equivalent to a pig. That's a fucking dinosaur.
It's got tusks. It's supposed to be a pig. It's totally
No, it's
supposed
not.
to
You're just saying that because Robert Baratheon got killed by a pig. That's all.
There's a lot of lords and kings that have been killed by wild boars.
Okay, there's a lot. Name one more.
In other books that I've read. Let me think of the
Such
one.
as?
Which one is it where
AI, what
the
other books does
wife-
somebody get killed by a
Okay,
pig?
okay.
Please help me here.
How about in Dune, like she didn't want a certain painting in the room because it was wasn't that one?
Oh yeah, didn't his father get killed by
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what it was. Like his father got killed by a boar and he had the boar like head up on the wall and she was fine with it like cuz he was a bad person.
Yep. See? It's
But
just
still, white spine not really like a boar or a pig. That thing's a lot
also an
more
Outlander,
dangerous.
sorry. An Outlander that happened, Justin.
Okay, I stand corrected. I have been proven wrong.
But yeah, the white spine is definitely this world's version of a wild boar. Just look at those tusks. They're just upside down wild boar.
It's the way he talks about that you're saying this because it doesn't matter at all, and yet it's so inaccurate. I feel compelled to argue with you.
I will ask him. That's what he's trying to do, right? Audience?
No, it's not. It's very specifically a thing that the hell out of somebody.
Yeah, I would say it's more similar to like maybe if there's like a nearby bear or something like that and you go out hunting that.
Or like
pig.
a tiger.
Yeah.
Sure, but it also has those tusks. I'm just saying.
Oh my god.
If the
so does a
axe
saber-toothed tiger. So does an elephant.
It's just a more dangerous version of that. That's all. I will stand by it, and you cannot change my mind.
For the sanctity of this podcast and our poor listeners, I will not press this point any further. But I want it on record that you are driving me absolutely insane with this pig comparison.
One
to
of
a
our
point I
audience is
almost
gonna
can't
say,
even understand.
I think it's a pig
What's
too. One of our listeners will say that. I think it's meant to be a wild boar as well.
Those are just your cult followers defending you.
They will rise. And they will come to my aid.
All right. Anything else with this chapter you two want to go over that has nothing to do with pig talk?
Oh, also, why did I think I could listen to this book while I had dinner? I was like, I'm just gonna, I'll just enjoy the chapter while I have my dinner and stuff. And it starts off with, of course, the random, super violent and gory classic Brandon Sanderson's scene that we knew was coming. I just didn't know when, but here it was. So I was like, well, I guess I'm not gonna eat this.
It's not as bad as the multiple times when Justin and I would be hanging out back when Tosh.0 used to be a thing. Be like, all right, we'll get some food and, well, let's throw on, oh, hey, last night's episode of Tosh.0, let's put it on from the DVR. And then we start watching while eating and quickly realize, why did we play this while eating?
Yeah, and Sheta, didn't you always used to watch Nip Tuck while you ate? How is this so bad for you?
I didn't eat while I watched that.
Yeah, you told me you did. You told me you did it all the time and always regretted it.
It's a little bit more artistic and stuff.
What?
And it wasn't like having a steak, I thought it was interesting and ironic that deciding to become a surgeon actually made him realize that he was capable of killing instead of the other way around. Like if he would have been a soldier, would he have realized he was capable of killing, because it was this specific experience where he was like, I could let him die. I could kill Roshon, that made him be able to do it or realize that, like on this battlefield, would he have had a similar experience and stuff? I don't think so.
And I want to say, even though I say I wanted him to cut it and I would have been very tempted to, I don't actually blame his father for not cutting it because he isn't a killer. Not everyone is that. And that's good. You wouldn't want everyone to be that cold, I'm just saying that this guy is dangerous, and you're doing the whole world a favor if you put him in the ground.
Mhm.
All right. And hey, we just got to meet Relir last week's episode, and now he's already gone.
Good
Didn't
riddance.
expect that.
So Justin's newest favorite character's gone.
Was he? I don't remember
You kind of joked about liking him, but you should have meant it.
saying
Otherwise, he
that.
would still be alive.
All right. So then, the name of this chapter was Of Alds and Milp. So why do you believe that was chosen for the chapter title?
I hate those names. I don't know why.
Of Alds and Milp?
I don't like those names for people.
Oh, those were the other two guys?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like who's called Milp? It just makes me uncomfortable because it sounds kind of like milk and MILF. It makes me uncomfortable.
Huh. Didn't think that.
I don't know why they called it that. Because of their fate,
Yeah,
we
why
know
would it
not.
be called that? I don't know. I got nothing.
Because of their fate, we know not, and we never will, I guess, since we don't learn what happened to them.
Yeah. I do have an idea why I think that you chose that for the title.
Tell me, because I'm deeply
I'm thinking it's
curious.
just kind of showing that Alds and Milp are the two left behind and just kind of forgotten by the Light Eyes and not thinking of them. Well, then Lirin kind of he was thinking of them, being like, we have to be ready to help them. So it's kind of showing that he's actually thinking of them and wanting to help them, while the others are not. And it goes along with him doing
sense.
what's right because it's right.
I'm just gonna say, screw Lirin.
Mm-hmm. Hard. I totally agree.
I'm so mad at him. So.
Oh wait.
I don't.
Hey, screw Lirin. No, not him. No. I don't say screw him. No.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
his father,
really?
no.
Just.
He's a man. He is living in a horrible world. I'm not going to blame him for trying to be a good man in a terrible world. No, that's a noble thing to try to do. It's just,
Okay, you really.
the world
Okay, I
is
will
what
just
it
have-
is.
I'll say it now. He decided to do this. He stole money that wasn't his, and now he's gonna back out and not finish the job. That's what I don't like. You can't pick and choose your morality in a world like this, That's why I'm
I'm
upset.
gonna have to say there's a bit of a difference of taking some spheres that were kind of promised to you from the last guy to killing a person.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
going
but
to agree with that.
there is, except this is not that kind of world. They are willing to go that length, and if you want to play their game, you have to play their game, or they're gonna come after your family.
You've got me convinced over there now too, Sheta.
Mm-hmm. Like it may be right. You don't want to kill someone, but you already.
I don't blame him.
You bought it in. You bought
I
in
don't
the game.
blame. I don't blame him at all for his choice, and yet I agree with Kaladin. You'd kill a man in self-defense out on the battlefield like it's nothing,
Mm-hmm.
But you here in this town just because they have the fake veneer of civility.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they're just as good as they are out there, if not more. So, that's why I feel that way, yet I do not blame him for feeling differently.
He's also a surgeon. While they don't have a Hippocratic
Yes.
oath there, it's kind of like a
Mhm.
Hippocratic oath here, where do no harm.
Yep. I got that vibe too, yeah.
I still think no. You should know what you're getting into if you're getting into it, He's playing
Mhm.
games with Rashon and without thinking about the consequences enough. They should have got out of that town.
Well, no, he wasn't playing games with Rashon. Oh, yeah, they should have got out of the town. That's the thing that bothers me. I'm like, you cannot stay here. It is too dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, and back to the chapter title. Chapters like this are why I like asking why you think the chapter title was chosen, because this is more one where you do have to think why you chose it. It's not like other ones like Side Carry where it's obvious. And that's why I like to do it every time.
Yeah, we make the obvious ones more good, and the actually complicated ones, I draw a blank.
All right. Well then, let's move on to the next chapter. Chapter 42, Beggars and Barmaids. Epigraph. Like a high storm, regular in their coming, yet always unexpected. The word desolation used twice in reference to their appearances. See pages 57, 59, and 64 of Tales by Hearthlight. Alright, so we begin the chapter, and Shallan, she gives her report to Yasna, and pretty much says that what Yasna did was legal and right, but it was not moral nor ethical. And Yasna notes that, alright, so Shallan, you find legality and morality distinct. And Shallan notices that Yasna, she's still wearing her soulcaster, and it has been 2 weeks since Shallan had swapped it. And she wonders if Yasna has discovered that it doesn't work anymore and has been trying to fix it in secret, or, if she has even noticed that it has been switched yet. And Shallan worries that Yasna hasn't noticed it yet, and that she won't notice it until right after Shallan leaves, making Shallan look a lot more guilty. And Shallan, she's curious why Yasna is not mad at her for calling her a murderer. And Yasna says that, well, murder is just a legal definition, and you just said what I did was legal. And Yasna accepts that Shallan believes what she says, and, I have looked over your notes, so I understand how you came to that. And Yasna does tell her that she was trying to do good when she went out and did that, and wonders if she should try to accomplish even more with her soulcaster than she already does. And Yasna decides to give Shallan the rest of the day off to go do whatever she pleases to do. So then Shallan heads back to their rooms, and once she's in her own room, she takes out her soulcaster, or Yasna's soulcaster, I guess. Shallan has spent the last 2 weeks trying many different techniques to get it to work, but she still has not succeeded. And she wonders if Yasna has figured out, if Yasna had figured out what Shallan was planning and had duped Shallan with a fake. But she doesn't know, if Yasna did that, then why wouldn't Yasna just reveal that I'm a thief already and I stole a fake?
I'm getting really curious about this myself, too. I'm starting to get as paranoid as Shallan is here. Because if Yasna went out and did that fucking, bring her into the alley and kill 4 guys thing, I don't actually know what she's capable of.
And then Shallan, she gives up on trying to work with the soulcaster, and she pulls out her sketchbook, and she begins to sketch, the rock patterns that are on the ceiling of her room. And as she's drawing, she hears someone whisper, "What are you?" And Shallan asks, "Who's there?" but gets no answer.
Well, that's something. How did they say that in the book, Sheta?
Much like what Joe did, but more creepy.
Yeah. I imagined it more more innocent when I read it, so it's interesting to hear how it was said. Yeah? Okay, so it was all creepy and shit.
Mm-hmm. It was a whisper.
And then Shallan hears somebody outside her room. She goes out there and she finds a maid. Shallan asks, "Why'd you speak to me?" And the maid has no idea what she's talking about. So Shallan's wondering, well, what did I hear? And just figures, well, the woman was cleaning, so I probably just misinterpreted her moving stuff around as her talking. And then Shallan asked if the maid had been in Yasna's room to clean up. And the maid's like, "Yeah, I was." And she tells her, Yasna doesn't like people entering her room. So right now, you need to go to Yasna and tell her exactly what you did and apologize. After the maid leaves, Shallan decides to take this opportunity to go into Yasna's room and look through Yasna's notes. Because Shallan is curious as to what Yasna has been researching, and she's also hoping that she might be able to find something that Yasna's written down about soulcasting and how to do it. And Shallan, she finds 3 large books that are filled with notes that Yasna has made. The first book is called Notes on Urithiru, and Shallan doesn't find anything in there. And the second book doesn't have anything written on it, and Shallan begins looking through it, and the notes in this one are pretty much, what she reads. They're the epigraphs that we've been reading for this part.
I liked saying that officially said, even though we basically knew that already.
Yep, so all the epigraphs for part 3 are just sections of Yasna's notes.
Mm-hmm.
And this book, it's all focused on the Voidbringers. And then Shallan, she looks through the third book, and this one's focused on Natan Natan, the Unclaimed Hills, and the Shattered Plains. Natan Natan. That's how the audiobook pronounces it.
Natan Natan.
Well, I was going through, and then it's like, podcasts call it something else, and then it just confused me. And then right after I said it, it's like, nope, the audiobook calls it Natan Natan. And Shallan wonders why Yasna is researching the Voidbringers. And Shallan also thinks about how the Ardents, they've taught about the Voidbringers, and they also teach about the Lost Radiants, which were then known as the Knights Radiants, and that they had fought the Voidbringers in the Wold Roshar. And it wasn't until after the Voidbringers were defeated and the departure of the Heralds that the Radiants fell. And now pretty much everyone agrees the Voidbringers are gone. either whether you believe that they were defeated or if they were simply a fabrication and never actually existed. And she wonders how Yasna, who's a skeptic and denies the Almighty, is, there accepting the existence of his mythological enemies. And then there's a knock at the door, and Shallan puts the notebooks back, how they were, and she goes and answers the door, and it's Kabsal. And he says that he heard that she has a day off and asked if she wants to have some jam. And she wants to say no and investigate more into Yasna's notes, but his eyes were just so inviting.
Oh, goodness.
And she also might be able to, see what he knows about soulcasters. And she knows she also needs to relax, so she decides to go off with him. So the two of them, they head out to the gardens, they sit on cushions in a blanket, and, pretty much have a picnic. And this time, Kabsal has truthberry jam, which is said to make those who consume them speak only the truth until the next sunset. And he does admit that the berries are harmless, but the leaves and stalks can make people intoxicated and euphoric if burned and inhaled. And Shallan's like, well, they should be called birthberry jams then.
Jeez. Man, this whole part got so much more flirtatious than I ever expected from these two.
Yeah, maybe the truth berries do work.
I guess so.
Yep, because, this whole section, Shallan and Kabsal flirt more, and Kabsal even becomes a lot more forward and overt with his flirting.
Yeah, pretty fucking overt, yeah. I was like, Kabsal, my man.
The one that stuck out to me, like, during this first section of it, was where Shallan's saying, something now, yeah, I'm, like, sweet and, delicious. He's like, oh, yeah, you're definitely sweet. I don't know about delicious, though. I'd have to test.
Bro. I was impressed. Bro got game. That's all I'm saying. And he kept pushing it. I'll need to do some hands-on research to learn more. She made him go, Kabsal, like 3 times in a row.
Yep.
And yeah, throughout, during the flirting, Shallan, she thinks, oh, man, there's no future for the two of them, though. Because she knows that she's going to have to make a good political marriage to help serve her family. And dallying with an ardent will not serve anybody. So she's going to have to start hinting the truth to him soon. And he has to know that this won't go anywhere, right? Eventually, they begin talking about her father. And this Kabsal mentions, like, yeah, people, stuff. It's like, someone having a painting and hiding it so that way no one can see it or touch it or stuff. And she tells him, yeah, my father, he was a man of passion and virtue, but never at the same time. Kabsal notes that she doesn't seem to like her father much and that he was a hurtful man. She says, well, he never hurt me, though. I was his ideal, perfect daughter. And, I'm the sort of thing similar to, like, the picture that you just hide away. I was supposed to be protected and never soiled by unworthy eyes or touched by unworthy fingers. And that's where Kabsal responds that she looks very touchable.
Oh my god.
I was like, dude, she's digging up her deepest trauma, and you're still flirting, and she's still into it. That is game right there. I am shocked.
Definitely deserve each other.
You mean because he has no filter too?
It's working for him, and so.
Mm-hmm. It's working. Yep.
So, Sheta, I need to ask, after this chapter, are you still on the anti-Kabsal Shallan train or pro-Shallan Kabsal?
Like, do I want them to get together?
Well, what's your ship? Is your ship, are you against Kabsal Shallan and for the Kabsal Yasna one still?
Yes, I am. I don't like Kabsal. I thought maybe before he would be, but I just think he's too, I don't know. I guess I don't really know him enough. Sometimes he comes off very competent, and then sometimes he comes off very dorky, and then sometimes sneaky and untrustworthy. So I don't know. I just want to know what his deal is for real. If it turns out he's just completely innocent and like he is just a huge dork, then I would like him. Yeah, if his intentions are genuine, then I would like it.
And become like one of those.
Guess?
Huh?
What's your guess?
It might be genuine. Yeah. My guess is that yeah. I just don't know what he could gain from bringing this girl jam every day. Except for that he likes her.
Well, he admits that he was thinking about enlisting her to steal stuff.
Yeah, that part, that's what, that kind of stuff was the stuff that makes me not trust him.
Even though he's open about it?
That's the most, like, villainous thing you can do. Is just be open with your money and see if you're into it or not, you know?
Hmm.
Shallan after he makes the touchable comment, she tells him to stop teasing her, and he says he wasn't teasing. He finds her intriguing. Shallan says they should not be talking like this because he's an ardent, and Kabsal responds that a man can leave the Ardentia.
Jeez, Kabsal. You are thirsty.
I'm a senator,
Shallan
is what I kept thinking of.
Oh, God.
The picnic scene, like, we can't. I'm a senator. Yeah, these two I noticed really remind me of Padme and Anakin. So
I can see kind of what you're describing.
awkward as hell, and inexperienced and cringy, but you, it's endearing too.
Shallan thinks that this could go very dangerous very quickly. And then the next thing she says is, Yasna thinks that you're only getting close to me to steal the Soulcaster. And then in her mind, she's chiding herself for blurting that out. Because a man, pretty much tells her, hey, I like you. I might leave this thing for you. And then she says that. And Kabsal says that, well, she's both right and wrong. I had been planning on asking to steal it, but my superiors just think that was a terrible idea. Because they think that Elhokar is volatile enough that he'd march to war with Kharbranth over that. And then Shallan tries to, move the conversation over to try to get some talk about the Soulcaster. So she says, I wonder what it'd be like to use one. And he responds, well, I've never used one either. And she asked him if he's ever heard any of the Ardents talking about using one. And he's like, yeah, I've heard them. They say it's simple to use. All you do is the hand with Soulcaster on, you touch it to wherever you want to change, and you touch one of the gems on the Soulcaster, and poof, it changes. And Shallan says, well, Yasna doesn't touch the gems when she does it. And he says, well, if people use them long enough, they kind of become attuned to it, and they can start soulcasting without touching the gems. And Shallan thinks, yeah, I read about that sort of thing, and I had tried touching the gem when I was testing it, but it did not work for me. So Kabsal, he's as ignorant as I am when it comes to this.
Yeah, I thought that all sounded like horseshit. I think it's funny when she just reveals, oh, God, I already tried that. What a dipshit.
And Kabsal says that, when he speaks with her, he gets carried away. And then he excuses himself, and he begins to leave. But then they see Taravangian walking with another Ardent, and then he ducks down to hide. And he says that he's supposed to be on cataloging duty today, but he scrapped that when he heard that Shallan had the day off, so he went to go see her. He says that some of the Ardents think that he is too interested in Shallan. And Shallan, she thinks that now she's becoming less and less certain of what she wanted. She needs to leave the city, and she could use the experience in the alley as an excuse to quit being the ward. But she was reluctant, and Kabsal was a part of the reason why she was reluctant. She loved learning to be a scholar, and she has felt fulfilled like she never has before. Days spent learning, lunches spent with Kabsal, and evenings debating with Yasna is what she wanted, but those were the parts of her life that were a lie. After they leave, once Shallan gets back to her room, she finds that a letter from Captain Tosbeck of the Wind's Pleasure has arrived. He was the captain of the ship at the beginning of the book that she arrived on. And the letter says that, they will be back in Kharbranth in a week. Once they arrive, they'll be able to take her back home at that point. And Shallan thinks 1 week will put her pretty much at the time that she had told Non-Balat she needed before she left. And then Shallan, she goes back to Yasna's alcove. Yasna's like, why are you here? I gave a day off. And Shallan says, well, I'm going to use my free time to study because that's what I want to do. And Yasna smiles in an understanding way. Shallan will leave in 1 week, but in the meantime, she will let herself pretend for a little while longer. And that's the end of the chapter.
I predict all this bread she's eating is going to make her fat.
That's the prediction?
Yep, Kabsal just into big girls, and he's trying to fatten her up.
He's trying to fatten her up because he's a witch and he wants to eat her. Okay, got it.
No, but it seems like he's actually into her, which
I think so.
will make me a little less wary of him.
That's exactly when he'll strike. Didn't they do that to you in Warbreaker?
Yeah.
The second that you started thinking, maybe these guys aren't evil, they turn evil.
Yep. If he does that again, I swear, I will never trust anyone again.
What if it goes like a, not an evil route, but like a season 4 Buffy route, where he just uses her to sleep with her and then never talks to her again?
I'm scared of that too. I told you I was scared of him playing with her heart and stuff, and because she's so much younger than him. That's why I didn't trust him to begin with. So if he does that, then man, I hope he gets the worst fate.
Hey, come on. Play's got to eat, Sheta. You shouldn't be so hard on the guy.
Player's got to eat, you say?
Play has got to eat.
Ew. He is just
I don't
coming
know,
on
that guy-
really strong. So I was like, older guys who like really pull lines like that on a young girl are just the scummiest because they're easy marks.
Especially young, sheltered girls who've never talked with a boy this long before.
They're like, oh yeah, I bet you're really yummy. I was kind of grossed out by that.
Honestly, that creepy shit is why I trust him. You would never say that to somebody you were actually trying to manipulate. That's just some awkward, weird shit that pops out of your mouth, and you're like, why the fuck did I say that?
You have not met the kind of people that I met. Would
That's
talk like
common
that.
kind of stuff. All right.
Yeah, if you're into a girl and you're a freaking more pervy deviant type, you're testing the limits of her comfortability, Like if she's comfortable with that, then she might be comfortable with other stuff like that.
Well, she seems pretty dang comfortable to me.
Mm-hmm.
And this chapter was called Beggars and Milkmaid. This chapter was called Beggars and Barmaids. So why was that chosen for the chapter title?
Bears and barmaids?
Beggars.
Beggars.
Oh, beggars. Because the Ardent's begging for some from
A barmaid.
a barmaid.
That's what Yasna told her to go draw. And so, you might be right, Justin.
He's begging for it. That simple.
Alrighty. We'll move on to the next chapter. Chapter 43, The Wretch. Epigraph. They lived out in the wilds, always awaiting the desolation, or sometimes a foolish child who took no heed of the night's darkness. A child's tale, yes, but this quote from Shadows Remembered seems to hint at the truth I seek. See page 82, the fourth tale. Alrighty, so we're back to Kaladin. And Kaladin, he wakes up to dread, wondering why he should try or even care. And he wonders, why was he even saved? Was he just saved to just wind up watching them all die? And he leaves the barracks and he finds all the men lined up and waiting. They were waiting for the training to begin. He was about to tell them that was all futile, until he saw a palanquin coming with a light-eyed man walking near it. And Kaladin says, well, that must be Lameral's replacement. So the palanquin stops in front of Kaladin, and a woman is lounging inside. She says that she is Brightness Hashal, and that her husband, Bright Lord Matal, is their new captain. She says that they had been told that this crew has been troublesome. Right? She says that her husband will not run the bridge crews with lackness, like the near dark-eyed mongrel Lameral did. And when Kaladin asks, well then how did he wind up with this job? Hashal simply just flicks her finger, and one of the soldiers rams the butt of his spear towards Kaladin's gut. Out of instinct, Kaladin just catches the spear, and in his mind, he starts thinking how he can just fight off him, the other guards will come, he'll be able to fight off all them and stuff. Then he realizes, no, that's not going to accomplish anything. So he allows the soldier to take the spear back and hit him in the head. And Hashal says that her husband is a close confidant of Sadeas, and that he requested this job.
Mm-hmm. Sure, buddy.
And she says that from now on, each bridge crew, they're going to be assigned one job instead of rotating through all the jobs. And she calls for Gaz, who then steps out from behind the palanquin. And she tells them that her husband wishes for Bridge 4 to have chasm duty permanently, and that they will start right now.
Jesus.
And after they leave, Tef says that they're going to see us dead. Pete asks what they're going to do, and Kaladin just says, we're going to go to work. And I also love throughout all of that, Hashal does all the talking. Her husband just stands there and doesn't say anything.
Yeah, what is with that? Your women are supposed to write for you. To talk for you just seems weird. Do other people do that, or? Has that been a normal thing, I mean?
It's not uncommon, I think.
In here?
No, I think
Yeah.
the only thing we got was one time one of Dalinar was talking when like all the other high princes were turning him down. One of them didn't even talk to him himself. He just sent his wife to tell him that he wouldn't meet him.
Oh, so is it a thing of disrespect, maybe? Like you're not important enough?
Yeah. Like you just send your assistant to talk to them instead of like
Yeah. Okay.
yourself, you know. Yeah, I don't think it's like she's the real brains behind this or anything. I think he doesn't.
I'm sure she is. Come on. Come on.
Well, she is actually pretty more fierce than any other wife or
Mhm.
secretary we've seen before, so
I
could see that.
guarantee this guy is a dipshit.
I don't know yet.
When they arrive at the chasm, Kaladin thinks that he could just step off and fly for a few moments.
That was one of my favorite parts. That was so sad. Jesus.
I can't believe Kaladin is so moody like that. Like very like he's prone to the sullens, as they would say, you know?
Mhm. Yeah, it's
Like-
interesting to see he falls into depressions. He used to seasonal depression. I was very surprised to hear
Mhm.
that.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
when
bro,
you
why are
look-
you trying to be the ultimate optimist? You're the saddest guy.
Yep, that's yeah. Justin's right. Like, cause yeah, I see a seasonal depression, and even the earlier Kaladin flashback chapters, it talks about how he gets into melancholic moods, and only his brother could cheer him up. So Kaladin pretty much has clinical depression.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know what was happening, but I was like, he said it, the wretch
Well,
is back. You know, like
Yeah. I don't think you need to have any like problem to get depressed in this situation. I think this is pretty reasonable. It's
Yeah, I
just
mean, it'll
interesting
test
to learn
anyone.
that
Yeah.
he would. Yeah, exactly. It's just interesting to see that he's been dealing with this his whole life. It's not a new thing.
yeah.
And they dealing with it, and they don't really have a way to truly diagnose it.
Yeah, they do. They toss a spear in your hand and shove you in the front of the army. That's how you diagnose it back then. What are you talking about?
A
Easiest
good
thing in the
beating will
world.
get out of you.
That's not
Mhm.
diagnosing. That's
That's how they did it back
that's
then.
treating.
Yeah, you're right. That's just treatment. You're right. They didn't need diagnosing back then. Everyone gets the same treatment for whatever they're going through. Join the army. You'll be dead in a month, so it'll all be over.
And Kaladin, he begins climbing down, and while he's climbing, Syl asks him, "What's wrong with you? You should, you survived the high storm. You should be happy." Kaladin says that, I could have fought those soldiers. Syl says, "Well, maybe you should have." She tells him, she does hate killing, but she's helped men kill before.
Jesus.
Still,
Kaladin asks, "Well, what do you mean by that?" And she says that she can remember it faintly. She doesn't know how, but she knows that it was right to do. Kaladin says he didn't fight the soldiers because it wouldn't do anything. He says that his father had told him that it was impossible to protect by killing, but he was wrong. Syl objects to that. Kaladin just cuts her off and says that you can't protect people. The world wants them dead, so they will die. And Syl asked, "Well, is that why you did not accept the glory all those months ago?" And he says, "No, that was something else." And after they're down in the chasm and walking through it, Rock asks Kaladin, "How are we going to fight next?" Kaladin says there is no next fight. Rock tells him that Kaladin surviving was a miracle, but Kaladin responds, "No, it was a curse. It would have been better to die in that storm. Now we're all just going to die from the Parshendi arrows." Once they are, scavenging the corpses and stuff, Tef goes over to Kaladin and asks, "Do you want to talk?" He says that the men are confused about what they're going to do next. And Kaladin tells him that he doesn't know what to do because if they try to protect themselves, then Sadeas will just punish them. It's hopeless. Tef gets upset and says that Kaladin then is abandoning them. Kaladin snaps back and says that he has spent hours thinking of a way out, but he can't. Sadeas wants them dead, and Light Eyes, they get what they want. Tef responds that, we may die, but this isn't about surviving. He says that it just seems pathetic to give up, and that they should fight until the arrows take him. Journey before destination. Kaladin asks, "What does that mean?" Tef says, "I don't know, it's just something I've heard once." And Sigzil, who's walking by, he jumps in and says, "It's something that the Lost Radiants used to say. It was their motto. Life before death, strength before weakness, journey before destination. The other bridgemen overhear them talking about lost radiance, and then they begin talking about him. Scar says that they betrayed us to the Voidbringers, and Rock begins laughing, saying that the Voidbringers are just campfire tales told by children. And Syl whispers, journey before destination. I like that. And she tells Kaladin that Teft is right. Kaladin may want to give up, but he can't. Kaladin says they are assigned to Chasman duty permanently now, so they won't be able to collect any more reeds and milk them, which means they won't be able to get any more medical supplies or food for the stew because they're out of getting extra money. And the rest of the bridgemen, they're still talking about the Radiance. Scar says the Lost Radiance helped the other side, and they were tarnished all along. Teft is getting upset, and he says, you don't know that. It was too long ago for anybody to know. Scar says that they abandoned them, just like the Light Eyes are abandoning us now. And he suggests, well, maybe Kaladin is right, and there is no hope for us. Kaladin thinks about how he's done this before. He had tried to leave slaves on escapes in the past, but they had always been caught and only Kaladin survived. And he thinks about all the people that he has failed in the past and have died. And Kaladin, he just can't take listening to the men argue anymore, and he stumbles away into the darkness. Once he's alone, he tells Syl that he can't save them. He's failed every time before. And she asks, does that mean you'll fail this time too? He says he will. And she's like, well, even if you're right, doesn't the fight mean anything? Kaladin responds that it doesn't mean anything if you're destined to die. But then he begins to think of those words that Sigzil had said. Life before death, strength before weakness, journey before destination. Thinks about what they truly mean, and he comes to the idea that death is coming for all of them. But the journey is what matters. That's life.
My man.
And a wind kind of blows through the corridor, and the sound of the wind seems to whisper the words to him again. And Kaladin finds a small rock on the ground, and he thinks about Tien. Tien had always been the one to cheer him up in the past. And Kaladin, he had promised himself he would try one last time with these men, and they aren't dead yet. So he goes back to them, and he tells them, there is one thing we could try, but it will likely end with all of us dying. We will try to escape. The men say that they'll just be killed. Kaladin says that we're going to get killed by Parshendi arrows anyways. And he kicks one of the spears in the ground towards Moash, who catches it. Kaladin says, I can train you guys how to use those. Then at night, we can attack a guard post. Eventually, soldiers will be sent after us, but hopefully they send a small group first. We kill them, keep going, and we survive long enough so that way we're far enough away so they stop sending people. Teft, Moash, and Sigzil are the first to stand up and say, we'll do it. And Rock says that he will cook for them, but he won't fight because it is beneath him. And all the rest of the bridgemen agree to the idea, and Kaladin begins to outline a plan. And that's the end of the chapter.
I'm glad he got out of his depression. Though I did start a Deadpool about who's gonna die on the way out.
Jesus. Who's not making it?
Dunny, for sure. Poor Dunny.
For sure.
Moash, I'm 50-50 on. And Scar, I don't think is gonna make it.
Well, being that I don't even remember which one he is, probably not.
I had Teft on there, but a theory has made me take him off the list.
You think Teft is going to make it? Anybody? Yep. Wow, I'm surprised.
What about Earless Jax?
Who the fuck is Earless
I thought he died already.
He's been mentioned like once or twice. He just has such a memorable name with Earless Jax.
Not memorable enough for me, apparently.
Earless Jack because there was a normal Jax, but that normal Jax is dead, but they still call him Earless Jax. Or did I make that up?
I don't remember any of this.
Oh, Joe made it up.
Actually, that might have been a Data thing.
Oh, okay.
So Sheta has Dunny and Scar on the for sure dying. Moash is 50-50.
Mm-hmm.
Jeez. I don't have a Deadpool because I don't think they're going to escape.
Well,
I think something else is going to happen.
This is in the course of trying to escape. So the planning stages, you could say. You could still guess. Man, it would be sad if all of Bridge 4 died.
Yeah, that's kind of what I expect. I expect everyone dies and Kaladin just goes all in on killing Sadeas. And that's it.
I really like Kaladin finding the rock. See, a rock saves his life again.
That's true.
Anything else from this chapter either you two want to go over?
I really like this sometimes when you're depressed because you know the path you're on isn't the right path, your brain kind of knows it, even if you're in denial or you don't know it, you know? So, like, him thinking this is pointless because we're all going to get killed on the bridge runs eventually, he
Mhm.
cannot move forward with it, you know? So, you can't feel better until that problem changes. So, him's like, okay, well, now only thing to do is try to escape because I can't continue living with that being incorrect in my head, you know?
Mhm.
So I think to get out of your depression, like whatever you're doing, whatever path you're on, it's not it's not lining up with something that you want in your brain, or you know, it's not the right path.
I've
That's all.
read that that's basically the biological purpose of depression is to get you to stop following the path you're on and to rethink or to have time to rethink what it is that you're doing, you know? It's
Mhm.
just modern world, it doesn't work as well as it does when like you're living in life or death situations, you know? So actually that's really interesting. I've read that, but I didn't put that together that that's what we literally just watched happen. Because yeah, if he kept following that path, what would be the fucking point? You know, who cares?
You will only
Like,
feel depressed, you know.
hmm like there's a reason he feels depressed. It's not just
Yeah.
nothing.
Mhm.
And he read it correctly thanks to what people were saying and Sill's help. I do have to say, shit, I'm warming up more and more to your god awful theory that I hated about Sill,
That
that she's his brother. Not the reasons you were saying, but just that I don't actually think she's his brother, but I think what something he was tapping into, she may be connected to, you know?
mhm.
Especially with this line about helping to kill people. I mean, she's been involved in some kind of war or something.
Yeah,
Just
maybe
because
she's
she's the only one who's able to make him
oh,
smile now too, even though he's not realizing that she's taking that role for him.
yeah, almost like Tien.
Hmm.
So this is kind of a little theory, but it's that chapter about um they're talking about Sprin, like with their mom, and she is telling it up Sprin's and everything. And Kaladin's like, or Tien's like, do I have a Sprin in me? And she goes, no, you're a human. You have a soul, but parts of your body have a Sprin in it, you know? So I wondered if it was a Sprin in Tien's body after he died or something, you know? Maybe not body, but you know, maybe it's Tien's courage or his that positive spirit that he had that helped Kaladin, that maybe that was so strong and became a spren. But I don't know what can be a spren, so
Yeah, we don't really know the rules all the way.
yeah.
All right. So this chapter was called The Wretch. So why do you believe that was chosen for the chapter title?
Because that was what was the thing. He was becoming the wretch and
That's
being spoken
Kaladin's
to
name
by it.
for his depressed self.
Hmm. Pretty simple for me.
Yeah.
All right. So then we'll move on to our last chapter for today, chapter 44, The Weeping. And we do have another thing of art, where this one's more like a list of that they call the history of man. So pretty much the history of, the major events on Roshar. So first was the expulsion, the loss of the Tranquilian Halls. Then the desolations, war against the Voidbringers. Arahetium, the last desolation, defeat of the Voidbringers. The Recreants, the fall of the Knights Radiant. The Hierocracy, the failure of Vorinism.
Ah, okay. So I didn't know it was a fancy writing like this, but when it was read, so is it the expulsion and then like underline the loss of the tranquil halls? Like that's one, right?
Yeah, pretty much. So
Okay.
the expulsion is the loss of the Tranquil Halls. That's
I
what that
see, I
is.
see. So there's really only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 big events, right?
Yes.
I see. I had written them down as all single ones, so that's gotta change. I was trying to come up with something for every event, but now it's only 5, so never mind.
All right. And so this one's another Kaladin flashback. So 5 years ago, Kaladin's on his roof patching it in the rain. Because right now it is the weeping, which is a time of year where it just rains constantly for weeks. And there's no high storms and stuff like that. Once Kaladin finishes patching it, he just lays down on his back looking up in the rain. And there was another army passing through the town, and this one is being led by High Marshal Amaram. Amaram is one of the most renowned soldiers left in Alethkar, now that most of them have left for the Shattered Plains. And Amaram was also Rashon's distant cousin. And few people have seen Rashon since the White Spine incident. And then Tien climbs up onto the roof and joins Kaladin. And Kaladin, he would usually become more melancholic during the weeping, but Tien always managed to cheer him up. And Tien says that he made something for Kaladin, and he gives him an incredibly well-crafted wooden horse. And Kaladin's saying, this is really great. But Tien says that Ral, his master, because he's a carpenter apprentice, didn't like it, and said that he should have been making a chair instead. Kaladin says that their father has spent another one of the spheres, but Tien says, yeah, there's plenty more. Kaladin says that Rashon's trying to wear them down, but Tien responds that it's not as bad as it seems. And then Hasina finds them and she joins them up on the roof. And Tien tells her that Kaladin's worried about the spheres. She tells him not to worry and that he'll be old enough to leave for Kharbranth in 2 months. And after Kaladin says, you all should come with me, Tien says he doesn't want to, he likes it here. And Kaladin says that, you guys should leave because Rashon's just trying to strangle us. And that father, he had recently used the spheres to buy bandages. She asked him, did your father need to buy bandages? And she points out that, he did not start spending any spheres until the day after the White Spine incident. Because he knew that Rashon would have found a way to get retribution, so Lyran instead is making it look as if he's broken or close to breaking. That way Rashon would think he just needs to wait a little bit longer before Lyran breaks and gives him the rest of the spheres. And he will keep spending the spheres once every few weeks until Kaladin is gone, and then all the spheres are gone with him. And Tien's excited for Kaladin to be able to go to Kharbranth and learn in a great city. And Hasina tells Kaladin, yeah, you're there, you can learn whatever you want. You don't need to become a surgeon. If you become one, then your father would be proud, but you don't need to lead your father's life. There are many paths you can take. You can become an Ardent or like a Storm Warden. But Kaladin says no, he wants to become a surgeon like his father.
I couldn't stop thinking a surgeon like my father before me. Every time he says that.
You're still in the Star Wars thing?
I guess.
Or it could be kind of like a Jack Shepherd, Christian Shepherd thing.
No, it's not as positive as that relationship was.
It is not.
Yeah, that was a
very healthy, positive relationship. Yes, we all agree.
Wasn't it kind
like
of messed
all
up?
father figures in Lost.
Mm-hmm.
And then Lyran finds them all up in the roof, and he tells them, there's a gathering in the square that Rashon has asked everyone to come to. So they leave, and they go out to the square, and they arrive there with the rest of the townsfolk. And then Rashon's carriage comes and arrives. People set up a little pavilion right in front of it, and he steps out, along with a dignified man that's wearing a formal military uniform, who Kaladin just assumes is High Marshal Amaram. We also see that Rashon, he has like a fake leg now, and he's gotten a bit fatter. And then next out steps out Laurel, and she has to wait for someone to bring an umbrella for her, and Kaladin just thinks that she looks gorgeous now. And Kaladin's parents notice that Laurel is wearing a bride's prayer on her sleeve. Kaladin's just confused as to who the hell could she be betrothed to now? R'lyeh is dead. And Lyran just says that Rashon is not willing to part with the connection she offers. And this just kind of horrifies Kaladin. He says, we have to stop it. But Lyran says, that's their affair. It's not ours.
Gross. He's fat now.
This is a ship you finally don't do?
Something about marrying your son's girlfriend, your dead son's girlfriend, is gross.
I'm sorry. Something about it is gross? Just
something about
you can't
it.
place your finger on it?
I tried to find the kink in it, and it wasn't.
Forced to marry this weird old guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't place my finger about it, but something about it's a little gross. I don't know what.
I know what it is. It's that there's no... Yeah, never mind.
You know what it is. Okay.
It's that Rashon's not good looking like Kelsier was.
Yes, he's not good looking.
Also, how old is our girl here at this time?
I think she's about Kaladin's age, maybe slightly older, so either 15 or 16.
15?
Because Kaladin's 15.
And how old is this fat, mean, one-legged guy?
Well, He was old enough to have a son her own age or a couple years older than her.
So there you go, Sheta. I just solved the unanswerable question for you.
No, it's that there's no love in it.
Yes,
He's
that's
just
it.
doing
There's
it
no
for
love.
money. He doesn't
Unlike
even-
with what's her
doesn't
name
even
in the
care
fucking
that she's
zombie
young.
Warbreaker.
Huh?
Oh, he doesn't
Well,
even get off on it. Okay, I
He
see.
doesn't even appreciate that she's a hot young thing. He just wants to get the deals from her marriage, you know? That's why
Well,
it's
I'm going to give a very uncategorical or a very uncommon no comment to what you just said there.
I'll have to say, honestly, throughout all this shit, like, yeah, Laurel, I've always kind of felt bad for her.
Well, I feel
Yeah.
bad
Like
for
she's-
her. But she
like she's
lost it
there.
when she fucking insulted him in front of her dumb new boyfriend. Your side
But
That
it's like-
bitch. That's what I think here.
She's there. Her father dies. She gets cut off from her. She had a crush on Kaladin. She gets cut off from him. Not allowed to see him anymore. New guy comes in. She's pretty much going to be forced to marry his son. So she's kind of integrating herself with him. He dies. So now she's having to be forced to marry the fat old guy. She's just been
Yeah.
moved all around and hasn't really had anything that she was allowed to do.
hmm
Well,
I think you're too hard on her, Justin.
I'm not hard on her as a person. I am hard on her as a character in this specific story and the themes this story is exploring.
You just hate.
We see in a little bit,
beautiful
we
women.
see in a little bit what a badass, self-assured person who's going to master their own destiny does in 2 seconds. That's what I can say about that.
It's easy for a man to say that, Justin. It's more difficult
It's
for a
easy
woman.
for a man to say that when Kaladin's about to do what he's about to do. Is that what you're saying?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about that. I don't think that's very easy at all. And in any other society, I might agree with you. Not this one where only the women have the power to read and write. Very different dynamic between the genders.
I wonder. Sorry, this is kind of a tangent, but I wonder if she had other options. If she could just be like, you know what? Actually, I'm not gonna marry you. I'm going to save my money in the bank and go to school and try to learn, like under Yezna, that kind of thing. Like have a teacher.
That's
Try
true.
to
How much power
know.
does she actually have in this situation? You're right.
Mhm.
I wonder.
She's like, I may not be of age, but I don't want to marry. I want to, do something else.
So, just a complete guess. She might have some power to do that, but she is like a person. She's only known this small town and stuff, hasn't really known anything else. So that would be her having to go off on her own and pretty much having to take a risk. So it could be also her not wanting to do that.
I highly respect people and characters who will take a risk for their own benefit, and I have nothing but contempt for people who will not. So that's where that opinion
But what
comes
if
from.
she's
Also, she talked Kaladin into a fight that one time, and then left him like a little loser when he got his ass kicked. I thought that was very mean.
she has high expectations.
Yeah. And you know what? She's not worth those high expectations because all she's a rich daddy.
Stop talking shit about her. That's the thing. People like that have no life and no real chance to like grow a personality and stuff, They're just
You're
do what they're
absolutely
told,
right. And the difference between you and me here is you're seeing this poor young person who's stuck in a life they never chose. I'm seeing who they're going to be in 40 years when they turn into what's the town leader's name again? Roshan, was that it?
Rashone.
Yeah, Roshan. I'm seeing them in 40 years when they're going to turn into that piece of crap asshole after a whole lifetime of that. So people who don't break out of that, characters, I just don't have a lot of sympathy for because they wind up being the bad guy later in the story when they're so bitter and old and pathetic and their life didn't go the way they wanted. And so they take it out on another guy's kids. I just think that's totally mean. So that's where I'm coming from. It has nothing to do with the character herself, so you don't have to defend her. I like her. I feel sorry for her. I hope that she'll get an opportunity to escape this. That's my personal belief.
She's a character
Is
where
that-
every time I read it, I don't know how to feel about her. It's like some stuff's like I feel bad, some stuff's like, yeah, that wasn't necessary. And I'm always so intrigued by her, even though she's not
I'd
a
say
major
that's-
focus.
I'd say that's because she's one of the most realistic characters in the book. I completely believe somebody like this would exist and this would be their life and everything would go wrong and suck ass for them. Is that fair, or am I still being too mean in your opinion, Sheta?
I don't know. That's fine. Just don't call her a bee.
That was just a joke. I'm sorry.
And so we're shown to the town, introduces High Marshal Amram, and says that, he's in command of defending the borders while the king and Sadius are away at war. Then Amram tells them that he's here for recruitment. The fighting that, his soldiers are going to be doing is not going to be as glorious as the war for vengeance that's happening out in the Shattered Plains, but it is still their sacred duty to defend lands. If they join him, their tour will be for 4 years. You'll get a bonus at the end if you're still around. And also, if you wish to sign up for another tour, you can at the end. And first he asked for volunteers, and Jost and Avery volunteer, and I believe Jost's mom's like, no, you can't do that. But he's like, nope, I'm going. And we've heard Jost a few times throughout the book. And 3 more boys volunteer. Yep, that was Jost.
Which one?
The kid he fought with.
The kid that Kaladin fought.
Okay. Well, good for him. Not being like those other losers who have talked it up their whole lives and then don't do it when the time comes.
Yeah, he was a little badass.
He was a little badass?
Yeah, he knew
I don't
how to
remember
fight.
him being a badass. Oh,
Kaladin's teach me how to fight. And he's like, nah.
He thought about it, didn't he? But he was like, no, I'd get in trouble, didn't he?
Yeah.
All right, so then 3 more boys volunteer, along with Harl, who was the man whose daughter had died in that chapter a few flashbacks ago.
Harl's just going out there to die. That is so sad.
Yeah. He's like, my wife died. My daughter died.
Mm-hmm.
So like, dang, that's a sad life.
And Amram, and when nobody else volunteers, he says that, well, I'm going to have to resort to conscription because we need to have more men. So this 6 was not enough. So Rashon tells his scribe, who's Alexia, to read off this list she has, to read the first 4 names and then the last one. And Kaladin's worried, but Liren tells him, don't worry, you're protected because, you're an essential function to the town, being the only assistant to the town surgeon. So Alexia reads the first names, nobody that we recognize. Then she pauses before she says the last one. Rashon tells her to go on, and she says it. It's Tien.
And even she didn't want to read that.
Did you know Tien? That's...
I assume everyone knows everyone in the town.
Is that Roshan's assistant? Or was that the Lord Amram? Yeah. Okay.
Yep, and Kaladin, he looks at Rashon and he can see a self-satisfied smile on his face. Tien's just shocked and he begins to grow pale. It's like, the military? I mean, Kaladin thinks that, Tien, he faints at the sight of blood. Liren tries to step in and says he's too young, but Amram tells him that boys as young as 8 and 9 from the cities are accepted into the military.
Jesus, 8 and 9.
But Liren responds, those are light eyes that are being trained as officers. And Amram notes, you're the surgeon. I've heard of you. And he kind of looks at Rashon with a annoyed look. And he's like, I don't have time for your small town politics.
I like how he immediately reads what this situation is.
Yeah. It's like, oh, I see. You're being all petty.
Yeah, this is some stupid thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I've heard all about this surgeon who stole money from you or whatever you've been dealing with for like a year.
Whining about that nobody cares about.
Yeah.
Yep, and Rashon says the dictates of the law says that he can decide who they can spare. And that Tien, he's the least useful person in the town.
What a fucking rat. Man, this guy... This guy is trying to go for my most hated character award in this book, and he is succeeding.
Liren begins stepping forward, and Amram tells him, don't do something that you will regret. Amram says, Rashon has acted according to the law. And Rashon tells Liren that he has hidden behind the law, but now it turns against you. And Rashon's like, you can keep the spears, because the look on your face is worth all of them.
You know he fucking practiced this in the mirror all week. Wrote out what his little line was going to be. Little bitch.
Amaran promises them, don't worry, I'll make Tien just a runner boy for a year or two and he won't see combat. And as they begin leaving, Laurel goes back into the palanquin, not even looking back or anything. Rashone's going into it, being all smug. And Kaladin, he just sees the terror in Tien's face. And he thinks this is the time to stop hiding and to be a man. So he shouts to Amaram that, he wants to take Tien's place. But Rashone quickly cuts him off, being like, no, that's not allowed.
What a little bitch. Imagine being Amaran here. You run a fucking military. You're pretty serious. You're forced to take this little kid who doesn't want to go. You're like, whatever. His brother steps up and heroically says, I'll go. And then the fucking guy in charge of the town just starts like whining and being like, no, he can't do that. It's my choice. Like what a loser he would look like in front of you who actually does shit for a living, I just thought that was so freaking pathetic and funny how he reacted there.
And then Kaladin tells him, all right, then take me as well. Hesina and Liren are upset and tell Kaladin, no, you can't do that. But Kaladin, he sees the hopeful look in Tien's eyes and confirms, yes, I'll go with you. And Liren asks Kaladin, why would you ruin our plans? Now I've lost both of you. Liren and Hesina are both crying, but Kaladin tells them that he will bring Tien back safely. He promises that in 4 years, he will bring him back. And that's the end of our chapters for this week.
So, Sheta, I thought you were being too hard on his father there until he says that little line of, why would you do this? As if he did this, and he's not Yeah.
Yeah, that's when I was like, okay, you're officially on the shit list,
Like, you saved this man's life, and then you didn't see this coming? That's crazy to not see something like this coming in this society.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You think you can just be a good guy and not suffer consequences? If you're going to have morals, you need to be willing to pay for those morals,
Yep. I was like, in for a penny and take the pound. Like, you cannot half-ass being a criminal. Like,
yes, I do agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
Because real criminals, ones who have the law behind, will be much stronger than you.
Oh yeah. And you are not just playing with your life, you're playing with your whole family,
Yep, so, your family, yep.
I think that I would divorce him,
Well, I wouldn't do that. I'm sure that the things he is why she loves him,
Yeah, well, yeah, no, but she also had a hand in it, so I would just, it was just him blaming Kaladin, like, why are you doing this to me? When I was like, you did this to him and your other son.
Yeah, I find myself agreeing.
We've also seen through, like, pretty much all the times that Liren has talked with Kaladin, Liren's a pretty strong pacifist. He sees, like, no reason for military or anything like that. So
he is wrong.
Goes into it. He's
because there are void bringers out there.
You can be as against it as you want, but people who are going to come after you.
Yeah, you can be as against it as you want, but you cannot expect the rest of the world to abide by that, right? Yeah. Is that what you're saying?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
You can't expect your enemies to be against it, right?
Yeah. I think at the very least he should have just packed up and had his whole family leave.
Yeah, that's the thing that annoys me. Yeah.
Like to fight him, to steal the money and then to fight him about it, kind of like egg him on. And to stay because you care about the town, like you have to give one of those up or it's going to be your family,
Well, I also think I get caring about the town. Oh, these people are nice. This is just how people are. But I'm also a very strong fuck kind of person. They decided that they're going to treat you this way. They're going to abide by this shit, Like the town could all get together and just secretly kill this guy, That is an option. It's a dangerous one, but you could,
Mm-hmm.
To go by what this guy is doing, even though it's not going to end with the doctor. It's going to come to you eventually. Like, this is a dangerous person, I have no sympathy for the town either. I would just write him off. The fact that his dad didn't, even though his family is in such danger, does frustrate the shit out of me, just like it does you.
Mm-hmm. He's just doing all the things that would frustrate me, and then to do it would have a family, and you're the head of the house, and make them all follow what you're deciding is important, is just I don't know. You just get what you deserve, I guess.
You get not what you
Not-
deserve. You get what you sow, I'd say.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Because no one deserves that. It's just
No, God, no. And I want to clarify for anyone listening, for me at least, this is not a dig against the character. I think he's well written and interesting. I think that it's easy for me in our modern world to have all these thoughts of, oh, you should do this, this, and this. But he's in a different world. And even though he's smarter than I am, he has a smaller perspective because I have all of history to look at the click of a button. I can see how things go quicker, you know. So yeah, I'm not dissing the character or saying he's a bad person. I'm saying that he frustrates the shit out of me and I don't feel sympathy for him. That's all.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting that this happened. Like, this is kind of like Ellen a little bit with trying to do the right thing, like doing what we think is, you know, morally right and is what he said about we have to be the change, you know, not be violent, not take lives, you know. But I was like, but having it fail and come at him in such a negative way is that's just the interesting parts, you know, like.
Anything else with this chapter you do want to go over?
Not what I expected to happen. As I've said many times, thought the city was going to be fucked up or something. So now I'm actually quite curious what is going to happen, because we've had a lot of pretty blatant implications about TN, you know, even in these very chapters. So I'm very, very curious. I'm more interested than I was before because I didn't expect it to be like this, a little Hunger Games thing.
I couldn't help but think that he volunteered as tribute and they should have let it happen.
No, I like the way it was. I like the technicality of the law. And I like I'm not going to say no to anybody. That's how much we want people, you know? And I love your kid, like, they're very young, you know, but they're such a warrior people. The kids volunteer and the parents have no say in it. They're like, no, you know, this is the village surgeon's son. He serves a very important function. They should logically not let him go, but they're like, no, sounds good to me. He volunteered.
Well, I think that's similar to our thing. You know, if a person is 18, if they sign up for like the Marines or the Navy or something, not much like parents could say at that point.
Yeah, but if they try to sign up when they're 8, I don't think they allow that in our world yet.
Well, Kaladin had talked about that before, is once he became like 15 or whatnot, that was the age where he would be able to join without anybody being able to stop him.
So the 8-year-olds got their parents' permission, I see. Okay.
Yeah, they're light eyes. They're being trained as like officers and shit.
Yeah, I got that.
Seems completely different.
Yeah,
that'd be like if like Dalinar going off to war and like at the war camp, he's training like Kid Adolin how to do it.
Yeah.
So cute. When he turns and makes that epic promise to bring Tien home, I was very sad.
Because you don't think it's going to happen.
Because I was like, why did you promise so epically that you would do it, you know? And so, but I wonder if he will, and that Tien will just die with a flu or something, you know, actually.
Yeah, do we know how
life, you know?
old Kaladin is?
Yeah.
In the normal book, or have they not ever said?
So in the first chapter, he was 19. So it was 4 years after this.
Okay, so
now he's like 20 or 19, depending on when his birthday is.
Interesting.
So he had already
and
reached
I can't
like
even guess,
around that 4-year mark in the first one.
Around, yeah. We don't know if he got it all the way or not. But he didn't seem like his goal was to bring his brother home. His goal was to get to where the action is. So now I'm really curious to see.
Oh, like when we met him? Yeah, his brother wasn't around when we met him.
Yeah. He wasn't around, but he wasn't like he was still somewhat optimistic, you know.
Yeah.
But
like he had hopes and dreams. He didn't give up on life.
There was other stuff too in that first chapter. Like they bring in like that Sin kid and stuff, and like the Dalit, like the guy training him. It's like Kaladin always likes to bring in the young people. It seems like he always wants to like protect them or
I see. So he's atoning for something, or
we don't know that.
We
could be that he successfully protected his brother, and now he wants to make sure other young people who get in don't die immediately. And his brother actually died after they got back home, in a really, really unfair kind of
All right. So this chapter was called The Weeping. So why was that chosen for the chapter title?
because his dad was crying like a baby. I'm kidding. I would be crying too. But that's mine. Plus this being the weeping. This was a sad moment in everyone's lives.
Everyone cry, and it's called the weeping. Even the sky cry.
Even the sky cry. Yep.
All right. So now let's move over to our theories and predictions segment. So
Do you have any questions?
first question I'm going to have for you. What was that voice that Shallan heard that whispered, "What are you?"
The Whisperer in the Darkness from H.P.
That-
Lovecraft. That was my first thought.
No, that is someone from the other side of the veil who heard through Shallan's magical scribblings that someone was on the other side, like kind of meditatively looking in.
So when I read it, I didn't have a cryptic voice, so I assumed it was another sprite like Syl. I thought it was something really friendly. And it was like, "Who are you?" And she was like, "Huh?" And I thought it would be that whatever got Kaladin that. But when you guys did that voice, I've really rethought my assumption on that.
That's funny. Shallan's gonna get a spren. Like
Yeah,
that.
I thought maybe she's tapping into the same thing. Now I just think it's the same things as the weird head things.
The Voidbringer people.
Hmm.
Well, that's just what.
Well, we
my
don't know
theories
what they
are.
are.
Yeah. No, I think it's. Did what I said make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
All right. And then how's Kaladin's plan about training the bridgemen and escaping gonna go?
Well, we didn't think much of the side carry plan, and that worked out well. I mean, they pulled it off.
Yeah, that worked out great.
And they pulled off getting money from the weed, and then that worked out well too. So I don't see why this wouldn't work out well. Only that there might be some more eyes on them now, but yeah, I think it would be cool if he does. I mean, the men are pretty resilient, it seems like, and willing to learn. So I think he will teach them how to fight, but I think it'll be a hard battle.
Honestly, my guess, if I'm thinking about it, is they will escape, and it'll be hard fought. It'll be bad, but they're not going to wind up in some far off land. They're going to wind up learning about and working with the Parshendi or something, learning about their culture.
That's cool. That would be the coolest.
And
thing.
then and then since they have no love for that army, and then Kaladin will become a huge general on that side. I'm just making this up. I don't think. And eventually he'll have his one-on-one duel with Sadeas, and it'll be super badass.
But you can't really become a Parshendi the way if they have the hive mind.
We
thing.
don't know anything. Oh, yeah, the very proven, and we're sure that's what it is, hive mind thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. We don't know anything about them. I think that we might learn a bit about them through these guys, not like defecting to their side, but winding up with them for a bit.
This will be just
And I
like
bet we'll see
Avatar.
Rock's people. How so?
Well, they will go native and be part of the Parshendi,
Are they gonna do like a hair growing thing with them? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, but with song.
With song, I see.
Yeah. I do want to see Rock's people, though. I think that would be cool. But maybe I think that won't be until a later book, if ever.
I'm leaning more towards if ever, honestly.
All right.
If Rock even makes it out of this alive, Sheta.
Rock is not on my list. He will survive.
Yeah. I'm not making a
He's not
Deadpool. I don't want to be that dark with these poor guys.
Oh, come on.
I don't think so.
All right. Now my last question will be with Shallan. She's leaving in 1 week on the ship, but she's worried, about Yasna, finding about the Soulcaster and stuff. So will Yasna realize the Soulcaster was swapped before Shallan leaves, or will Shallan leave with Yasna still not knowing? Or does Yasna already know?
Yeah. That line she said about, I should use it more often to help and do good things, got me wondering if she already knew. I never thought she did till she said that. Like, are you going to tell me so I don't go out and get myself killed again, my young apprentice? Because if you don't, you're basically condemning me to die.
That's funny. I didn't think that. I don't think Shallan's gonna leave. I don't know why. It just feels like she's gonna leave in that same way. I think Yesna's probably gonna be like, "All right, I'm gonna head out to the front lines now. So I'd like you to come with me to continue your learning." And Shallan's gonna be like, okay," because she secretly wants to go with her, and she's scared of getting caught. So that's what I think.
I think something crazy is going to happen. Something we could barely even guess at this point.
Kabsal proposes.
No, not that.
And
Something
they
that's
get
going to
married.
like be a mixture of her not being able to go and her stealing the why can I not remember what this fucking thing is called?
It's a
Soulcaster.
Soulcaster.
Yeah. Where it's learned that she stole it or consequences come from her stealing it.
I have this weird theory of something is going to happen to the king of that town, and Yasna will be like the number one suspect or something because he was killed with soul casting or something, and so she will be imprisoned and stuff, and so Shallan will feel like she has to stay for her sake.
Geez, she's gonna be imprisoned?
Yeah, royalty style imprisoned, so just carefully guarded until they figure out the details.
Would they do that and anger the Alethi?
Yeah, that would be a fucking crazy thing to do, man. I wouldn't do it.
They're just a small city-state.
I think they've been wanting to fight with them for a while, but I don't know. Maybe they have some other things in place. Maybe they're the ones controlling Zeph.
You think Taravangian's controlling Zeth?
Not Taravangian. The people around him, because they already said that city is kind of hard to control. Like Taravangian's a pretty weak king, is what they were saying. In my story, he's dead, so he's not part of it.
He's dead.
It's people scheming to take over, setting up Yesna for the murder. I think there's people wanting to make some big moves, like we know there are because of Zeph. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what your big event that you're thinking is going to
Yeah,
happen.
the king's probably on the list, right? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
On his to kill list, and then they'll have to
Yeah.
deal with the consequences of that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can dig that.
Yep.
All right. Free
I also
theory
think that
segment.
Well, I also think from that I think our other king's probably on the list too.
Oh yeah. No one likes
This
him.
is just going to be the Witcher 2 game plot where they're just killing all the kings, just to sow
King
chaos.
Slayer.
Yeah.
Is Zeph a Witcher?
Yep. You called it.
He's this world's Witcher.
Mm-hmm. That's right. You got it.
Okay. Free theory time. Do you have anything, Justin?
I think that Kaladin is going to make it back to his town after the 4 years. Some bullshit's going to happen where his whole family and the girl he loves is killed, and that's where his hatred of Light Eyes is going to go. I think he's going to make it back. I think he's going to fulfill his promise, and he's still going to die afterwards, and that's why he's going to be so bitter about it. And then he's going to go back to the army, like, just fuck it.
But he doesn't hate Light Eyes until after Amaran does some, sells him into slavery.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to have the hatred of it from what happens back at the town, but I think that will add to it. Because they had the memory of him holding a woman's dead body that he blamed himself for her death, or a girl. And I think that's the girl back in the town when he goes back. So I think he's going to make it back. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, okay. I thought that girl was just the little girl he couldn't save. But I don't know.
What little girl? The
little girl when he was a boy, she broke her leg and he couldn't save her, and then
I remember it saying he cradled her, like he held her, but I could be remembering wrong. So I don't know, but I don't remember well enough to comment too strong on it.
Yeah, me neither. But I just thought it was that girl. But I don't know why that. I mean, that's his first death, I guess. Like first person that he couldn't save. So maybe that would be a memory you'd keep. But I think your girlfriend who you've always kind of thought you would marry would be more important of a memory.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if desolation is a name for something or someone.
We're getting another
And-
ruin. He's just doing his own book again.
Yeah. Desolations. So, like, is it... Yeah. Then I have a theory about... I had a theory before about how the singing, the Parshendi singing, helps them kind of be on the same frequency. So I thought it was interesting that Shallan read a theory about how humming might help you with soul casting.
Ah, yeah, duh. I didn't put that together. That's a good one.
And so I was like, I think that it was right. She just didn't hit the right frequency or for that.
Or it's some other magic that's only tangentially related.
Yeah, like it's maybe a different kind of soul caster or something.
Yeah, you got me totally convinced with that one. I'm annoyed I didn't see that.
Oh, I didn't say this during the Wretch chapter, but all the bridgemen had clean shaven faces, and they were kind of like, all their clothes were dirty and stuff like that, but they had clean shaven faces, and they were clear faced and ready to work out and practice and stuff, and I just like that little differences like that, like having a clean shaven face really does a lot for morale. And I thought it was really cute that they were all in about keeping a high morale.
Mm-hmm. Especially after Kaladin came back from the frickin' dead.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be so eager to serve him more after that.
Yeah. All right. I have another theory, and it is that Teft is one of the heralds. Just because he specifically, I think he is Kalak, which is one of the last guys to leave his post. Do you remember, Justin?
Yeah, I remember. I want to hear where
Okay.
this is going. I am not.
Yeah.
I'm telling you already, I am not convinced.
He just when he said that journey before the destination quote, and he's like, oh yeah, just something I heard once. It's like once, like 4,000 years ago, like. And then he got really
Mhm.
defensive when Scar started talking shit about the Lost Radiance. He was like, you don't know, that was a long time ago and stuff, and he doesn't like how they're portrayed in history, So I think he might be related or is one of the heralds, who I always thought were stuck here in that they are sprinkled among our characters. So,
Yeah,
and
you have
he
thought
knows
that.
some, yeah, he knows weird stuff about the orbs. He healed Kaladin, and he said why now and stuff like that. He's saying some weird stuff. So that's why I'm building this little theory of that he might be more than he seems and stuff.
I think he's more than he seems. I don't personally think he's that much more than he seems.
He also said he lets everyone down, like he let down someone in his past.
He did
Like,
say that. That is true.
mhm.
I just don't see any clues beyond what you've said. I like it, but I am not convinced. You're going to need more
Yeah,
than
no,
that to convince
this is
me.
just a little building theory, or
Mm.
still gathering clues, which makes me kind of have my other theory about how the guy they left behind is doing something like.
Oh, something. This is theory time, not just not
Okay,
whatever that is.
I think that guy, or Talonel, because I went back and I listened to that first part where they talked to him, and he was a kind of like odds zero, but we're gonna do it anyway kind of guy, and he got himself killed, and that's why he went back to that hell place to be tortured and stuff. So I wonder if he getting sent back, and he's getting sent, I don't know, sent back and channeled through characters like Kaladin.
It did not seem to me as if they were quantum leaping into people, Sheta.
Yeah, that's why I don't know. but there was a weird thing, like he said that about Kaladin, so I'm not sure.
Who said
Kaladin
what
survived
about
a
Kaladin?
storm. Teft said that about Kaladin after he survived the storm, that he said, "Why now?" and that maybe him. This is also based on another theory that I had about going out in the storm is what you should do, and it will give you, I don't know, it will prime you for powers and prime you for the gods and stuff, you know. But then I feel Kaladin has had this connection, because in the weeping chapter, he did not like the weeping because the lack of storms left him without strength. So I wonder what that
Wow, you're
means
tying that
too.
all together. That's interesting.
Yeah.
I like that, actually.
So, yeah, I don't know. I really need these answers. Okay. Then my last thing is what the importance of color is in this book. In these chapters specifically, they talk about the most colorful parts of a body being blood and the eyes. And I wondered, there's just other things that involve color that I wonder about the significance, because hair color, eye color, blood color, and stone or gem colors matter. Like, those are kind of the things that elements that we're dealing with. It might just be him playing around with colors, but the shard plate is also painted and stuff, so in different colors. So I just wonder if that is significant at all.
So, yeah, would color be a actual theme of the book or just a recurring motif, you're saying, right?
Yeah, exactly. The fact that the Radiants, I think, have different colors in their armor and stuff makes me think that maybe there is some significance, and having light eyes mattering or not, you know. So I don't know. These are just little pieces of things that I'm picking up. They could be nothing.
I think you're inching on something with Teft, but I don't think it's what you're saying. That's my prediction.
And then one last line.
When he said the why now line, I didn't really interpret that as meaning anything. I thought it was like, why now at this point in my life is somebody arriving to give me hope? That's how I interpreted that.
Yeah, it could be just that. But he's specifically healing him, though, secretly, you know? So that's
Well,
weird.
he knows about the gems. He knows something that we don't know
Oh,
about them. That's
I
for
see,
sure.
I see. Okay, that could totally be normal. So I don't know if we knew this before, but when Kaladin makes his promise to bring Tien back, he swears by the Almighty 10th name. And so I wonder what that means, because there are 10. I don't know. I don't know anything about the religion, but what does that mean?
I don't know.
10 is a number that shows up a lot on Roshar.
Okay.
Like, because you had the Almighty's 10th name, there were the 10 heralds. They've mentioned, like, Kaladin's been like, oh man, I feel like one of the 10 fools.
I see.
Tien.
I think there are, with Alethkar, there are 10 high princes.
Yeah. So these patterns are driving me nuts, because I'm like, are they just for fun or are they very significant?
It means that a percentage of them can burn atium.
See, this is making the nerds go crazy.
Any other theories?
Quit while you're ahead, Sheta. So far, I think all your theories are solid, and I like all of them.
Really?
Yeah, but it doesn't take long to get some of that nightmare stuff that gets me clawing my own face off.
You never like my theories.
That's
Well,
not
next
true.
she's going to start her, she's going to go into her Kaladin Brightness Hashal ship.
Is that the new lady? The new
Yes.
secretary? I did think of that for a second.
No, yeah, I told you. Quit while you're
Yeah.
ahead, Sheta.
Because I was
Okay,
like,
that one's got to be a joke.
no, but I did think that. I was like, ooh, lady in camp, like, you know, and she's all tough too. Maybe they'll have a back and forth kind of thing. I did think of that, which is funny that you said that.
I
All
don't
right.
really have any theories this week, but I think yours were interesting enough that that's fine.
All right, let's go over to our characters of the week.
My character of the week is Kaladin for badassingly vowing to keep his brother alive for 4 years and joining the army despite having already decided he does not want to.
I also pick Kaladin for getting out of his depression and making a plan to escape his situation.
And then with me, I'm going with Syl for once again helping Kaladin, overcome his, depression that he had, getting him to keep fighting even if it might be a lost cause just because she thinks it's right.
Cute.
All right. Now we'll go over to the quotes.
Okay, okay, I got it. He'd become the wretch, not caring, but also not despairing. It had seemed better not to feel at all as opposed to feeling pain. Wasn't he a fool to keep grasping as he did? If only he could win once, that would be enough, as long as he could believe that he could help someone, as long as he believed that some paths led to places other than darkness, he could hope. There was one thing he hadn't tried, something he'd been too frightened of. Every time he'd tried it in the past, he'd lost everything. The wretch seemed to be standing before him. He meant release, apathy. Did Kaladin really want to go back to that? It was a false refuge. Being that man hadn't protected him. It had only led him deeper and deeper until taking his own life had seemed the better way. So I like that quote quite a bit because, everyone feels despair and depression and like giving up and sadness and all that. And I think it's really interesting to put it as bluntly as it may feel better, it may stop you from feeling that pain, but it does get you to that point where taking your own life seems like a logical thing to do, when obviously the whole point of everything is to go against that. So I think that's a really good argument against giving in to that kind of depression, and I really liked how he put it.
Mm-hmm. I like that too. All right. Okay. I guess mine is kind of related to that too. Is just the coming from the quote that Teft starts. So, life before death, strength before weakness, journey before destination. And they didn't know what that meant, but the later quote is, death comes to all, but life comes first. Cherish it. Death is the destination, but the journey is life. That is what matters. So that's his making sense of that little saying. And something we've all heard, that it's not the journey, it's the destination. But having it put out in this way, I thought was really interesting, where just because we all know we're going to die does not mean that we shouldn't try to live, and that it's not important to, and that before we die, we do get life, is what it is,
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that was really interesting to kind of do a different, using the similar words, but a different idea from it.
Yeah, I like how it's life before death. And I like when he's like, what's that even mean? Life is more important? Like, that's kind of stupid. I like how he reasons it out to, no, life comes before death. It's literally that simple. So you should live before you die. I really enjoyed that as well.
Yeah, because when you simplify something you've heard so much, or that is just seems simple, I like him putting a new perspective on that, because you're like, yeah, it just makes sense. Like, it makes sense compared to the, like, why would you just go to death, like, so I like that argument.
Yep. I like that quote. That was actually my backup quote in case somebody had taken my normal one.
Okay.
All right. So mine is Lirin talking to Kaladin. Lirin had a distant look in his eyes. Somebody has to start. Somebody has to step forward and do what is right because it is right. If nobody starts, then others cannot follow. The Light Eyes do their best to kill themselves and to kill us. The others still haven't brought back Alt and Milp. Roshon just left them there. The Light Eyes don't care about life, Lirin said, so I must. That's another reason why I wouldn't have let Roshon die, even if you hadn't been there. Though looking at you did strengthen me. I wish it hadn't, Kaladin said. You mustn't say such things. Why not? Because, son, we have to be better than they are, he sighed, standing. I just like that whole quote. To me, it sums up the point of that chapter, and it pretty much sums up Lirin's character, where he's trying to do what is right because it is right, and somebody has to start the cycle. It's a theme that I've seen in plenty of other stuff too. Big theme in like Fishman Island and One Piece, and also I always like just the other people find bland. I always like the heroic characters who are doing what's right because it is right. Spider-Man, Superman, just the good guys, even when things are bad, they're just trying to do what is right.
Mm-hmm. I always really like that theme in superhero media. That's my favorite place to see it.
Mm-hmm. Those are rare people, and they usually put themselves and the people they love in danger for it. I think
they
it's really
shoulder the whole thing, though. That's why I like superheroes. They know there will be consequences. This is right. This isn't about some vague moral thing. This is tangibly right. I'm not trying to change the world. It just is right. So that I have a lot more positivity for when a superhero does it. However, they also get to wear a mask a lot of the time. That helps,
I like that. Yeah, they were a rare character, especially in worlds like this. I think it's really interesting to have a character like that.
All right. So now we'll go have a couple comments from some episodes. First one, this was on Blue Sky for our Way of Kings episode 26 through 28. This one was from Data from, the Sanderlanche.
Hmm.
Best intro ever. Garfield and Friends is a classic. Because the intro I did on that one was the Garfield and Friends song.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny. The reference to Garfield and Friends.
Dude, my references, I go all over the place trying to hit stuff. Usually I'm just thinking, I think of an idea, it's like, that sounds pretty good. I write it in notes, and yeah. I think one time I did Pride and Prejudice, and I have not read that book.
Cheater.
Next comment from The Way of Kings, 32 through 35. This one's from Adel8. Since the scene with the sand-forming shapes came up, I'll share some of the thoughts I had for a while. A lot of things that come out here remind me of, like, geology and steel. First, when I first saw the image of the Shattered Plains, I saw it similar to when it rains and the ground breaks when it dries, but also reminded me of grain boundaries from a materials class. It's like seeing a microscopic image of iron or other materials.
Mm.
Number 2, the hierocracy. There's a rock sound in there, but also hiero is iron in Spanish.
Mm.
Number 3, Shallan's story begins in Carbroth, which sounds like carbon. Carbon and iron make steel.
Man, you're getting scientific on us.
Number 4, we have a character named Rock.
That is true. The rocks have been a theme.
Mm-hmm.
Number 5, lastly, we have rock flowers and rock creatures. I may be losing my analogy here, but they are coming from the ground.
It's true. There's something there, that's for sure.
Yep. I don't know all that to say is that I believe Brandon did some research about geology/mineralogy, so it may be of some importance.
Yeah, seems that way.
Footnote, I love the comment about the Parshendi having some relation to what Kabsal showed. I'm curious if they are related, and if so, how?
Mm-hmm. I wonder that.
Next is a comment from Reader Warrior. Politics on a Cosmere podcast? That'll never mix.
I'm sure they're very popular on other ones.
Well, you can even just talk about the politics in the Cosmere too.
It's always fun. Yeah.
He bumped the Elantra sequels. Sobs.
Who bumped what? Oh, he's going to do them
Brandon,
later now.
Yep, because he's working on the movie stuff. He said that because originally...
Fuck that, I want an Elantra sequel. I don't even want a movie.
Yeah.
Yep, that's one thing I'm sad about. It's because originally his plan was, because he's writing a trilogy of books, and then he was also, when he finished that, write Elantris 2 and 3, and then he was going to try to release, go like one book, Elantris 2, next book, Elantris 3, and then the last of the trilogy. Now he's just going to focus on that trilogy of books, and Elantris might come afterwards. I'm just hoping he still does Elantris, because there were some questions from there that I kind of want to get an answer to.
Yeah.
Your fear of new fans is exactly how we felt when Kelsier was added to Fortnite.
Oh yeah, that's good.
Brandon is against AI for artistic use.
Okay. That's good. Because, like, I'm not an anti-AI bro, but I feel like for fantasy, AI makes it so boring. I feel the same way with too much CGI in fantasy. Like, I like them to try to do as much as they can for real, because the whole point to me is I can already imagine what it looks like. Doing it at least moderately for real is like, at least gives me something worth it existing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I'd be real disappointed and bored by that. So that's good to know.
What were we saying about AI though? For
if the sets were just going to be all AI by that point, by the time the show's made, it'll probably be like everything's AI, because a lot of shows it's going to be.
I see.
But not all of them.
Yeah, we can get that now. Like, I would want
Not
an
quite.
official show to have a built set and costumes.
That's my problem with the AI thing is if studios are doing it and fans are doing it, why should I think the studio one's the official one?
Yeah.
But if the studio pays $1 million to film something for real, that's pretty official.
Mm-hmm.
Right, the next was about the character that he'd play in Cosmere. Dibs on Elend or Melland or Gaz.
Well, they're quite different. Well, just Ellen and Gaz, I guess.
Well, Melland's a nothing character that appeared in one scene. I don't think Sheta has a PG-13 setting. It's either My Little Pony or Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
I guess go big or go home.
Chapter 32. Is it the Lopin's introduction chapter? Yes.
Yay. I like Lopin. We didn't get any Lopin. Yeah, I wonder what he thinks. Is he gonna fight too? Does he have to do chasm duty? He wasn't there.
Yeah.
I feel like he would have
there.
said, I'll fight with you, Gon. That's what he'd say. Or, no. He has one hand or one leg? Or
one arm.
One arm, okay.
Chapter 33. Kabsal doing his job as a priest is what indicates him and Yasna getting together?
Well, apparently you were right.
Some people are very passionate about their work. That's all I'm saying.
Chapter 34. To be fair, I don't think anyone could simply survive a level 10 hurricane.
No, not simply.
Chapter 35. One would think blunt force trauma, whiplash cuts, and other harm from the storm itself kills people who stay in it.
Nope. It's God faces. That's my theory still. Sticking with it.
All right. And then from the theory section, I am pretty sure Sheta repeatedly said that Vin should be with Zane.
Yes, she did. Don't let Sheta gaslight you.
Did, but what am I defending? If the relationship was
You
good?
don't even know.
I don't remember what we were talking about that.
This point, like, you were talking about Vin and Zane, and you were just like, no, I didn't think that Vin should get with Zane. I just would have liked it if she did.
Yeah. I think it would have been cool and interesting, but probably not good for her health and happiness.
Probably.
And then he continues, we knew exactly what Vin was thinking. Her POV was 4/5 of the book. So, wait, Light Eyes have their eyes plucked out and replaced with spheres then?
I don't even know what that's in real, but I'm
No,
sure it's not something I said.
They're used like spheres. They're filled up with stormlight, just like spheres are.
And he says, I do believe you have seen the word Cosmere in other books.
If I did, I didn't notice it.
Yeah, I was it on like a bakery in the background?
Bakery in the background.
Cosmere cookies.
It was a bar. Yeah, Cosmere cookies.
You know, I honestly don't know where else we would have seen it. Maybe some point in Hero of Ages might have popped up, or maybe in like one of the Ars Arcanums for one of the books.
I don't count the Ars Arcanum because it's not a real story.
What?
That's
the Ars Arcanum.
Oh, sorry.
But they're all canon, written by
That's
somebody.
Why. It doesn't matter if it's canon. I understand what you're saying, Sheta.
Yeah, because it's not like it's a study, so of course it would have information in it.
That's outside of the narratives. It's an Ars Arcanum.
Mm-hmm.
Not that it's not canon. It seems absolutely to be.
And We have come back to the elements every book now. Ha ha ha.
Oh yeah. Oh really? Do we?
I don't know.
I guess we did talk about it before as well. Elements of harmony.
Oh God, no.
Okay. And then last comment we have, another one on Blue Sky from a person called Spencer. Listening to Sheta talking about Kabsal and Yasna, and this is all I got. And they put in this image.
Yep, that's accurate.
Which is a picture of Jerry from Tom and Jerry kind of looking stoned going, what?
Welcome to my fucking life.
I don't know how you guys can't see it. There's so much tension between them.
Yeah.
What I'm seeing are like entire chapters filled with Kabsal and Shallan flirting. Like
You
some of the most...
flirt.
Yeah. Sheta, what I'm seeing is the book. I don't know what the fuck you're saying.
I just see
I think
sparks where I see them. I don't make it up.
Mm-hmm.
I think the only stronger flirting I've seen in any of the books we've read so far was Ciri and Susabron. Even like Raoden and Serene and Vin and Ellen were not flirting as much as Shallan and Kabsal are.
Yeah. There's that kind of flirting, and then there's the other kind of flirting.
Don't encourage her.
I just mean that, like, people don't know what they're attracted to sometimes. And they just kind
Oh
of,
my God.
be like mean or care about something a lot, They
What
don't
the
know
hell
why.
have you been watching, Sheta, that this makes sense to you?
This is why I like Zane and Vin, because he likes Vin and he does things that might not seem like normal flirting, but he does.
Wait. What? What the fuck are you talking about? Not like normal flirting. You would call it, you know what? Joe, just kick me off the podcast. I don't need to hear this nightmare anymore. I'm starting to get frightened.
And I don't think he really liked Vin. He just wanted her because Ellen had her. And he wanted what Ellen had.
He defined Vin as the one who could save him from his own insanity. He would have just wound up killing her.
I mean, he literally stabbed her in the chest and then kissed her.
Yeah, so romantic.
Yeah, so romantic. Just like the greatest love story of all time.
He's just confused.
Halloween Resurrections.
Yeah. I feel bad for such confused poor creatures like Zane.
Sheta, a lot of real life people are confused, and it leads to like triple homicide.
Oh yeah, they deserve to be put in the chair, but this is a story, okay?
What love story was there at Halloween Resurrection?
The wonderful part where there was the stabbing and then the kiss. It was such a beautiful, artistically done shot. How could you not remember?
I do not.
Gosh.
Wait,
is this
did
the Rob
Michael
Zombie
stab
one?
Kiss song?
It's when when Michael
Resurrection
stabs
was the one
Laurie.
with Buster Rams.
Yep, it's the one where Michael stabs Laurie finally, and then she kisses him before she dramatically falls off the building. It was beautiful.
I don't remember that at all.
It was a moment of true artistic. I cried.
I guess Buster Rhymes doing kung fu just blocked out everything else from that movie.
You can't have too many crazy things in a movie.
What, they had those two. The rest of the movie was nothing.
All right. Well, let's be done with that. Let's look forward to next week. Or next week we're doing 3 chapters. Chapters 45 through 47. All right.
Wait a minute, that's only 3 chapters.
Yeah, some of them are longer.
How am I going to get my clues in just 3 chapters?
Trust me, there will be plenty in these.
Okay.
Those 3 chapters will be longer than the 4 chapters we read this week.
Oh, okay.
All right. So then, yep, that's it for this week, everyone. So, I would say, go, as I said, chapters 45 through 47. Read those. And then, also during the next week, maybe go splurge on something. Buy something off eBay that you don't need.
Mm-hmm. Spend as much as you get paid. Lose all your money on this eBay thing.
Don't listen to them. You don't need anything from eBay.
Buy it from my eBay store. I'll be setting up just for this.
No, save your money and just read a book. That's my
And that
advice.
That you
book-
buy off eBay.
Yep.
The end.
Yep. All right. So yeah, that's it, everyone. Go out, have fun, shop at eBay, and now don't get arrested.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Toodles, Scissor.
Bye.